Dean Clancy, you're welcome to the Sligo Show.
Cheers, thanks for having me running.
Great to have you here in this very special year you've had. But before we get into it, and if you're watching at home, wherever you're watching this, we'd love any likes, shares, subscribes to help us build our voluntary project here down in Sligo. Dean, Olympic year, amazing year. Must be one of the most memorable years ever for you.
Yeah, definitely will be one of the best years. Definitely most memorable. Getting to the Olympics obviously was
beyond a dream, I imagine.
Literally the cherry on top. Something I've always dreamed as getting to and represent my country at that level.
And we're a few months on from it now, so obviously the disappointment. Obviously, I'm sure you wanted to go further than you did, but do you now, despite the loss, go, wow, what a journey, that was amazing? Or do you still feel a bit frustrated?
No, I wouldn't say frustrated.
Yeah.
Hungry for the next one.
Yeah.
The experience definitely is on my back now going into the next cycle. But, I've had time to reflect on it and, looking back, I'm in an extremely small number of people to get to Olympic Games.
Yeah.
So I'm incredibly grateful for that.
Yeah.
And the whole experience as well overall was amazing. The whole build up and after and the support back home and all over the country. Really.
Yeah. You're becoming a national face now, so you're going to have to watch where you walk now. They wouldn't be knowing you.
No, not yet.
And the guy that you did fight, that was his third Olympics.
That was his third Olympics.
So, I imagine even to go to Olympics the first time, there's all these new things you have to get used to.
Yeah.
That might distract you from your prep, a little bit maybe sometimes.
Yeah, we would have been expected to, we were told about all this stuff, to be a lot of noise, a lot of distractions. And look, I'm young. I probably got caught up in a bit of distraction and enjoying it and stuff, but it was pretty insane over there. It was credible, and him having the 3 Olympics on the trot as well. He had that experience and he knows the ins and outs of Olympic Games and all. So he probably had a bit more experience on me.
Yeah, and I suppose it's just natural. But going in, I'm sure, especially in boxing, it's a real kind of confident sport, and you never hear anyone going, "Oh, I don't know about this now. I might be." Is it full on confidence? Were you what was your goal going to the Olympics? Obviously, I presume everyone goes, "I want gold," but what were you going? If I get this far, that'd be brilliant, and then the gold would be a dream. Is that where you were at with goals?
Obviously to gold medal. That's something I've said before leading into it. You have to have. If you're not going to go, can't go into a fight not thinking you're going to win.
Yeah.
But stripping it back down to one round at a time, one fight at a time. Once the draw came out, that was the way I was looking at it. So I was looking at the opponent in front of me and wasn't thinking about the next fight.
And it's probably an obvious question. Is there loads of video analysis watching what he does and how he does it? Hours a day, like what we see in football?
It wouldn't be hours. I tend to look at my opponents myself, and then obviously so we can schedule it with the coaches either the day before or the day of. I usually do it the day of, and we sit down and we get a game plan together. They obviously, coaches talk amongst each other and have the notes and stuff. Yeah. And then so I kind of give my input, and then they kind of agree or disagree, and then
you go.
We actually have that conversation, So
it's it's not all coach led. You go, "Oh, I think this," and they might go, "Oh, actually, that's a good."
Well, they want to see as well. They want to see how would you approach it as well, and we work off each other. So.
Okay, and what's the worst kind of fighter you hate fighting? Is it a brawler? Is it a height? What's more difficult for you? Would you find, or?
I'd be giving it away then, wouldn't I, from a future
fair enough. Okay, obviously.
But I'm pretty adaptable.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, give me a few rounds to someone, I'll try and suss them out.
So you land over there, just kind of give us a little brief kind of what it was like landing there, building up, prep, and then the fight itself.
So before we went to Paris, so obviously we were training camps in Dublin. Most of the year it was Monday to Friday in the Sports Ireland Institute, and then before actual Paris, we went out to Germany Saarbrücken for a training camp. And managed to get a load of spares over there, and then during the week we actually went over to France and to was Nancy, I think it was, for more spares. So we were doing a lot of sparring and training over in Germany and France, and then we flew to Paris then.
Is this all your own team?
Yeah,
that's training against each other and sparring?
The Olympic boxing team,
Yeah. Okay.
And we got to the Olympics, and it was pretty surreal getting there. Walking in the village, it was whoa. It reminded me of the Youth Olympics as well.
Okay, so you had a little taste from that.
A small little taste, but obviously nothing to the magnitude of Paris. But it was that's the first thought I thought when I landed there.
Was the village better or worse than you expected? Had you different expectations? I've seen some videos from some of the athletes.
No, I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. It was massive. And it had everything. Everything you needed. You didn't had literally everything you could do.
Yeah, so you wanted for nothing.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
And I presume getting near, when the competition's that near, there's not a lot of heavy training going on at that point.
No, it's all tapering and weight management. So tapering down, doing like little fast workouts and mainly weight management.
Right, so like nearly like the jockey, so you have to really watch your... I would have assumed that a boxer's at a weight most of the time, and it doesn't fluctuate that too many times. No.
My weight would have fluctuated, like obviously when I was growing and stuff, and lack of experience going up too much and whatever. But I tend to keep my weight not too heavy, because it's hard to lose it. You know, it's hard to lose. Like last Christmas, I went up over 70 kilos, and then I boxed 63 and a half.
You didn't gain 70 kilos. You went
no, I was like
that was Christmas and a half.
Not yet, I know it.
Yeah. So again, you're going, oh God, that'll take me. You probably know how long.
I think I was like 73 last year after Christmas, and like I had to box 63 and a half in like a month and a half, 2 months, and it's hard to lose, like, you know.
So for anyone watching, what's the fastest way to lose weight?
I'll be here all day.
Is it like the sauna thing? Is it a heavy train?
Managing my food and obviously training a lot, because I'd be burning a lot of calories. But the last few kilos were dehydration. But I tend to keep my weight in a good place.
Yeah.
You know, wouldn't go more than 5 kilos, I'd say, overweight.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Good to know. And so then you were coming up then the night before the fight. Did you sleep? Were you bagging nerves? Were you confident, calm? What was that all like?
I struggle to sleep now, I won't lie.
I imagine so. Like, I'd say most.
You think in your head, like, you're like, all right, I'm prepared for it, like, but you just a lot of stuff. Your head just be racing, getting nerves and stuff like that. But yeah, I slept. I know I had a nap the day of the fight, so I was pretty fresh going into it.
Okay. And obviously your family were able to travel this time, but do you get much contact with them when you're over there?
Just texts and phone calls.
So you're not really going beating them like that.
So like when we're in the village, like we have these like accreditations, and they obviously scan to get in and out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's like a certain area where like family can go just outside the village. So I've met them there for like coffees and stuff like that, and when they obviously touch down and all.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, I didn't really see them until I was out of competition.
Right, okay. And then the day of the fight itself, like how many hours are you in the arena beforehand? You know, for people that will never box in the Olympics.
I won't lie, the day was a blur.
Okay.
Thinking back, but I think, I don't know what time. If I was fighting a tree, I would have been there maybe like 12:30. You know, I'd make sure I have all my gear in my bag and stuff like that.
You have to pack your own bag, yeah?
Yeah, I packed my own bag. I don't know if someone packed my bag yet. But no, so I packed all my stuff, made sure I had everything. Obviously done the analysis with the coaches. Went on the bus and went to the arena. And getting to the arena was pretty cool. It was my first time. Like, I was really nervous because I was first in as well on the team.
Okay.
First in, you know, not only for myself, but like the coaches and everyone's trying to, you know, sussing it out. And so I got there and seeing the arena was pretty cool. Like, it was like a massive warehouse, but like it was all sectioned off.
Oh, right. Okay.
It was like,
so it was different fights on different zones.
It was actually built unlike the Ronald Garros. Like, it was purposely built just for boxing.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if you've seen
purpose built.
Yeah,
I've seen some of it. Yeah. There was lots of different. The swimming arena as well. Was that purpose built? Some parts of that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think
just know it was a massive arena, but like it was like maybe like that much over your head with all these like soft walls that you could like go like little tunnels and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So obviously when it was over, it was just cleared out. But the arena was huge. Like, it was pretty well done.
Okay.
Got in there, chilled out for maybe an hour. Just chilled out.
What's your pre-fight music, or is there?
Oh, it's a bit chaotic now.
Yeah, because we've heard all kinds of music.
Oh, my music's nuts. Yeah, no, the coaches always laugh about it.
Okay, but you headphones on, clear your head. You like that?
Yeah, it could be literally any type of music.
Okay.
But yeah, I know, it's just chill out, listen to music, laughing, joking, pretty relaxed. Like, you know, when I get there, get the hands wrapped, professionally done. If you've ever seen them before with all the stuff on it.
Yeah.
And just start my activation. Like, we always have a routine before we go into a fight. Okay. So between just going out there, chill, I always have a coffee before my fight. I think
well, you're a gem at making them anyways. You didn't make your own on that.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as my ones, but
yeah.
So just get ready, wrap up, do my activation.
So activation, is that a number of routines or workouts? It's
only about 10 minutes of, like, you know, loosen out stretches, activating the small muscles, using band works and stuff like that.
Okay.
Basically, like, you know, preheating the engine.
It's a full body sport, really. Like,
yeah. So you don't want to be just like going hammering in straight to a warm up. Like, you want to get the little muscles working, especially such a hard tournament. Like, you know, you want to be doing the small things, right? All the 1%. So yeah, basically I've done all that. Got the warm up, done the pads, cleared gloves on, taped on, and you're ready to go to battle. So
okay, and like, do you find you completely just zone in when the fight starts, or did you find any kind of, this is new to me, the size of arena? I mean, the Olympics, was there thoughts like that?
No, I was pretty focused. I loved that. Like, you know, when I was standing under there before we walked out. Like, you know, they're all banging everyone's banging their feet, and like, so they were getting the crowd going throughout the whole tournament. Because like there was some MC, he was like getting everyone to sing songs and everything. Like,
okay, keep the atmosphere.
And someone actually proposed before my fight as well, so it was a bit of a delay for me. Like,
fair, thanks very much.
And I was just there like looking up. I was like, oh, well done. Like, you know,
there's a little Olympic secret.
Killed my little buzz for a second. I was there like already. I was like, what? You know, but walking out was insane. I think I said wow. Funny enough, it probably was a little unfocused walking out, but
yeah. But I mean, I'd say you just have to. So you can't help but admire and love that moment. Like,
yeah.
It must be amazing.
So it was pretty special walking out. But a few seconds, then I was just ready to go. Ready for now.
And like, do you have much memory of the fight where like, oh, this is going well? Oh, that's, you know, what was it like for you, the journey?
I sparred him in Germany or France, sorry, before we went. So I have an idea, like I had a fair idea what he's going to be like. Messy, rugged, you know, a tough opponent. Like, so I had that in the back of my head, and I had like the game plan from the coach. You know, box and move, don't get engaged. Kind of went out the window at the start of the first round. He just like literally jumped on me, which I knew, but it's hard to manage that. You know, especially with the nerves and everything. But went back the first round, I was like, you know what, I was like, probably didn't win that. I said, okay, be honest, like I have 2 more rounds left. Don't panic. And came out in the second. You know, I thought I finished well in the second. You know, I came out looking back at it. I thought I got the second. I think I did win the second on the cards actually.
Yeah.
I think it was like 4-1 the first, 3-2 and 3-2 in the third. And then going into the last round, I was like, okay, this is any man's game. Like, you know, it's really up there. Like, who wants it more?
Yeah.
And then it was obviously negative with the hit me on the floor. I think he hit me in for like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Back of the head once, rib once.
So when you like just in that moment there, like, okay, we say it's a foul as such, but like, is it really distracting to get that punch?
Like, there was one in the back of the body. I was more like, oh, what are you doing? Like, you know.
Yeah.
The back of the head shots now, they were a bit like, oof, you know.
Yeah, but that could, like, it's the unfair disadvantage then, you could be a little bit more disoriented.
It's just a bit, it's a bit like, whoa, it gives you a little bit of a buzz, like right in the back of the head, like, you know. A few elbows as well, but it was a rough.
You're used to that, I presume.
Yeah,
you've seen plenty of it, but
yeah, used to it. It's a fight, you know. At the end of the day. When the point deduction came, I was like, okay, I think I have this now, you know.
Okay.
I think I have this, and then I think the way the score it fell off, it was like 2 had it for me, 1 had it for him, and 2 had a draw.
A draw, yeah, and a draw is quite unusual apparently in amateur.
I ran, so they had to like click a button, and they obviously sided with Jordan. So,
okay, so it was literally on that knife edge.
Yeah, literally just clicking the button. Sure, look, it was bittersweet, but look, it was
absolutely.
insane.
And I mean, your interview afterwards, you were getting, which understandably quite emotional, but like totally understandable. Like,
yeah.
But as you said, especially when you mentioned your family, so I presume like right through your career, your family has been a driving force. That's
kind of where the first thing that came to my head walking out of the ring. I was like, oh, they're after coming over here and 9 minutes done. You know,
not that they would have been anyway.
I know. You know that
obviously.
That's the way my head was thinking. Like, you know, obviously, Jesus, they were fucking so proud of it. Sorry for cursing.
It's all right. You're a human being.
so well.
Keep going. Doesn't matter.
No, obviously they're so proud of me. Like, and I know that, and you know, it was incredible. And looking back, I thought it was amazing to bring my family together and have that memory, you know.
Amazing. I mean, like, not many people go to an Olympics, like, and then
like
some people
well,
previous
like,
Olympics who couldn't even have people at it, like, so you know, and it was nearby. It was easy to get an Irish fan base over there as well.
Yeah, so I was that's something obviously reflected later after it, but yeah. So
back that day, then you kind of. How long more do you stay in the camp then? Or?
I was there right to the end.
Okay, so you have an option to stay if you wish.
Yeah, I was lucky. So some other sports, they were probably like the rugby sevens, for example. They were when the Olympics starts, 26th or 27th or something.
I can't remember exactly. Yeah,
but they're in and out. They were on for like 2 days, and then they'd stay for 4. But they were put into like a culture village.
Okay.
So we were one of few lucky nations to have like an area where you could send athletes. They experience the city, still experience the Olympics.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And then they fly home. And then they could fly back then for the closing ceremony.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. So you got to experience that.
Yeah, so.
Must be amazing to.
But I was lucky enough, like the boxing, we were there right to the end, like, you know.
What was your non-boxing highlights? Did you go watch any of the sports you liked, or did you enjoy anything particular?
What to do? Just around the city, I suppose. I can't get over how big the Eiffel Tower is.
Okay.
Actually, I was like, ooh. It's a lot bigger in person. Have you ever seen it?
Never in person.
It is massive.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's one destination for us to go and see.
Can't get over how big the city is as well. Like.
Yeah. It's it's huge
Yeah,
city.
you've been to train for like a half hour when you're only a small bit on the map. Like. But,
yeah. And did you get to see any of the other Sligo Olympians at all?
I was meant to go to athletics, but I just went into the city, met my family and stuff like that, my friends.
So it must be hard to get everywhere. It must be awful hard getting around as well during the Olympics, I imagine.
Yeah, I was lucky. I had like a little at the airport. You know, I think it was
special pass.
The coaches were meant to get this like little red. It's like you just tap it on every single thing you wanted to do. Like. Yeah. And like I was chatting to this one. I was like just trying to get it off, or I was messing with her and all, and she gave me it, so I was happy.
So you got wherever you want.
I did. I was there with the head coach, and I was like, "Give me that." So anywhere you can go, you just tap away at it. Like
okay, so that made you had a nice holiday then after all that, I did. And just let all the emotions settle and just enjoy being there for the while it was there.
Yeah,
like,
I watched the cycling now. That was pretty cool.
Okay,
it was at Montmartre.
Oh right,
so
okay.
It was pretty cool up there now. Seeing them all go by. What else did I watch? I'll come back to me.
That's okay. So we mentioned family, and obviously if we go back and from doing a bit of research, like you started boxing at 8.
Yeah.
So obviously boxing was in the house.
Before that as well, actually.
You were probably boxing, but we're talking about legal.
Yeah. No, I don't kickboxing before that as well though.
Oh, kickboxing as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And so obviously it's a big sport in your family, I assume.
Yeah.
So who's in your family exactly again? How many?
So there's an older brother, younger brother, and a younger sister.
Okay.
Her birthday's in a few days now. Sweet 16.
If whenever you're watching this, it might be gone, but happy birthday.
Then obviously mum and dad.
And who was into the boxing world
my older brother and my dad.
Okay. That's introduced you then?
Yeah, my dad would have boxed when he was like 14, 15, 16.
Okay.
Gave it up then, and then brother was in kickboxing. I joined my brother doing kickboxing.
Yeah.
Like 6, 7.
Yeah.
The brother then moved to boxing, and then naturally enough I follow because he's my older brother.
Yeah, I'm assuming you prefer boxing, or was it an easier path to go to, or did you always love the kickboxing as well?
I was young. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like looking back, the one thing was I was annoyed I kept getting disqualified for not kicking enough, and
so it was like there was a hint he might be better at boxing.
And I was using my hands more, and it was I was hurting him at a young age. So
and like so just kind of scanning through. So 13. Sorry, go on.
Because it's a funny story. Because like obviously I was getting disqualified in kickboxing. I remember we had a fight in Clooney. I got disqualified there because I hurt them. And I was
you were disqualified for too much punching. Is that what you mean?
The start, like I hurt him. I think it was a body shot, like, and it was just like, you know, it was only young, like, and he obviously couldn't continue. So like I lost because it was light contact.
So how do you? So it's all kick contact. I don't fully understand the scoring in kickboxing.
It's points. You're meant to only like touch each other.
Oh, okay.
So you can't really just go out and have a dig.
Yeah.
And I was young and I didn't really understand that.
Okay.
But
would you say? Would you go on?
Yeah. Then I went to when I went to boxing when I was 10. It was like underage championships, and there was no winner. And I went out. It was in Foxford Hall. And I remember my dad was telling, I don't know whether it was 20 euro. He was like, you go out and you stop him, like, you know, I give you 20 euro. Give him a standing count in the first round. Second round, he couldn't continue. And it was actually, I'd love to get the videos, me just like shadowboxing, walking back to the corner, like, but that was a TKO win, but like we both won, you know.
I get you, but you had it in here, you knew who won, like.
Yeah, I remember it was video I saying, you'll be an Irish champion one day, like, you know, I was like, oh yeah.
That mad at that age, like, they could just see something in you, like.
Yeah.
When you were young, were you a kind of rowdy, wild? Did you have a lot of energy you needed to channel, or?
I wasn't rowdy, but I had a lot of energy, I suppose. Probably still do now and again.
Yeah, no doubt.
Keep me calm.
Well, that's the thing. It is very much aligned with discipline.
Yeah.
You know, to teach you discipline. I mean, like, obviously, me and you, the fight here, there's only one winner. But like you go, I am so channeled now that I know how to control.
Oh yeah,
I know when to use it and all that.
I'd recommend any parent to put the kids into boxing, even if they don't want to take it, like fully commit to it, like just even just do it, like, you know,
as an exercise even, and a lot of gyms in town that do it as well. And it's a mental workout as well, like,
yeah,
it's a bit
especially
of thinking.
If you're getting punched back, like, you know.
Well, you definitely have to start thinking then.
A long time.
yeah, that's the thing, like, it's 9 minutes.
Yeah,
it must be exhausting. Just hopping around the place is exhausting, but then to be punched and getting
you're mentally
punched.
thinking about getting punched as well, like, you know, it's not just any man can hit the bag for 3 minutes non-stop, but when you're getting punched back, it's a different story.
The bag doesn't hit you back, like.
No.
So going on to 13 was your first, from reading, a school title.
Yeah.
And then going on through, you won silver in the 2018 and 2017 European Youth Championships.
Yep.
Like at that age was like, oh my God, this is mad. Like I'm up at this level. Or were you going, I should be at this level? Were you kind of like, no, I will be getting there? Like, did you know, or was it like a dream come true when you got there? I
always set these goals. You know, I pretty much most goals have been tipped Paralympic medals.
Yeah.
So, pretty much, like, you know, like I remember when I was 10 and then I had the schoolboy championships or Sligo Leitrim's, like, you know, I really wanted to win them, you know, won them. Next thing you know, it was the Mayo schoolboys, you know, won them. Connacht championships, won them.
Like, was it all winning more or less? Was there? I presume to be at your level, you were probably one of the best. But were you losing a good bit as well, or?
Yeah, like I was obviously winning. Obviously winning and losing, it comes hand in hand with it. Like, you know, they're not really losses; they're lessons. That always says, you know. True. But like, you know, won the Connachts, and then I was like, okay, Irish now. I was like, oh please, I want to win this Irish. I'm going to train hard. You know, it's getting to the Irish and winning a national title was like, you know, getting to Olympic Games. That's the way I would look at it. Yeah. Obviously lost my first Irish, sick, came back the next year, won it, and kept winning. So
and at your young age, like I presume there was a huge sacrifice from other things your mates were doing.
Oh,
you know, socially and
But I wouldn't really call them sacrifices, you know.
But I mean, obviously, you know, something had to give that you couldn't be doing what all your mates were at every day.
That's the kind of price you get with it if you want to chase success as well, like, you know.
Yeah. But you seem to be very driven from a young age, like, and it you know, even from the few times I've talked to you, I met you, like, you know, there's a lovely discipline and manner there, but say it's a highly driven individual there as well, like.
Yeah, I am,
but it's always been there, I'd say.
It's always been there, and I suppose obviously nurtured with my dad as well, like, to push me on, you know. That's where it comes from, like, you know.
Yeah. And then your first senior titles, obviously the national one, and then European gold under 22 age.
Yeah,
sorry,
just after COVID, yeah.
Okay, and then your first senior, if I'm getting these all right now, European Championship 2023, you won bronze medal.
Yeah, last summer,
and that's qualified you for the Olympics.
That qualified me, yeah.
So obviously it must have been great to get the medal, and no doubt knowing you wanted to keep going and win it out, but you must have been also going, oh my God, you knew then I'm going to the Olympics, like.
Yeah, that's the thing I'd look back as well, reflect on the European Games, you know. I kind of felt I wasn't as fiery against your man. I was more enjoying it because your man, Sophie Numa, he's a 3-time Olympian, Olympic silver twice.
Oh, okay.
In 2016 and the one there in Paris. So like, he's a top operator. Like, he's 3-time world champion as well. So I went in there and enjoyed it, and I had my own, like, so.
Yeah.
But I qualified 2 days before that, so I was like, oh.
It's amazing, like, no matter how much you try and discipline yourself, the brain just naturally goes, oh,
yeah, because the main goal going to European Games was qualify. You know, that was it. It was, I actually never really even thought about getting a European gold when I went to the European Games.
Isn't it mad? Like,
it was just qualify.
Okay.
Then I have the ticket. I'm like, whoa.
I can imagine, like, just go.
I think I didn't want to fight.
And like, so like on an average, like, okay, so there's 12 months in a year, and how many of those months are you all out training? Is it peak and troughs, or depends when competitions are on, obviously?
Intensity wise, obviously, when it comes to tournaments and training blocks, but relatively, you're always doing something.
You have to clearly be doing every week, though. There's always something.
Oh yeah, I'm always doing something. Like, even if we're meant to have like a taper week, I'll end up just going for a run or going to the gym or going to ROM. Losing my head otherwise if I'm not training.
So that internal energy needs to be burnt out somewhere. I
just need to do something, like.
Yeah, and again, moving. It's eternal discipline with food, I presume.
To an extent, yeah.
To an extent. So like, yeah, so here you go. I know I can have, like, what's your weakness?
What's my weakness?
Do you be taking any of those cakes out in Mammy Johnson's there?
I love a good croissant.
Croissant. So if anyone meets Dean, you want to buy him in the coffee shop,
I love a good croissant. Yeah.
Okay. But I presume just in general, you've got a good enough discipline with that.
Yeah.
A little pause there.
I don't really think about it that much.
Too much,
either, you know, I don't really think about it. Yeah. There's times there where, like, if I'm hungry, I'll eat. Probably should eat more, I think. Yeah. If I'm training, I do tend to. If I'm in Dublin now, I do really, like, obviously we've nutritionists up there, and like midweek, if I'm feeling a bit sore, fatigued, or tired, you know, I'm clearly lacking the carbs. So I carb load for like midweek, and that'll give me like a little extra push in the sessions. That's the only time I'd really think about food. But I'm a good eater, I suppose.
It must be when it gets near the competition time, like, you probably become a scientist in your own right now, knowing that exact amount of this, or is it all told to you by your nutritionist, or do you go, I know exactly what I need?
I think from experience, I know myself.
Yeah, okay.
What food's going to make me feel good, what food's not going to, what I should be, what I shouldn't be, what I shouldn't or should not be eating, essentially. You know, what you eat, I suppose, you know, if you eat McDonald's before you're right, you're going to put out a McDonald's. But,
yeah.
So, yeah, but when it comes to actual fight week, carbs, good bit of carbs, not too heavy. Just, yeah, I wouldn't be eating massive amount of fight week, just dehydration. Like, the last 3 kilos before weigh-in would be just like liquid out of my body from sweating and drying it out. Like,
So you always go a little bit above coming near a fight, and then you
yeah,
have to.
I wouldn't be able to walk around 63.5 kilos, like, you know.
Okay, so this is the thing. So when we see you in the ring, like, oh, he's looking great. Like, but you're good. If I had to stay at that weight,
if you see me in the ring, like, for example, Olympics, like, I'm not 63.5 in the ring, like I in that morning I'm either 63.5 on the money,
yeah,
or like, because it's hard enough to get down, or sorry, yeah, I'm 63.5 that morning, but like when I'm in the ring, I put on at least 2.5 kilos.
really, from the morning.
Yeah.
Is that you eat something straight after weigh-in then or something, or?
Well, it's all fluids and food, yeah.
Okay, so you build up all that before you go in, or else you would be going in weak. So I wouldn't have realised there was that.
Well, I wouldn't say weak, but you need to be fueled. So like the day before, I wouldn't have near as much, and I'd have a lot of water out of my body, so my face would be a bit drawn, like.
Yeah.
So when I weigh in that morning, like, the first thing I would get was like, so it'd be like a 500 ml of like electrolyte water.
Electrolyte, yeah.
Get that straight into me the minute I'm off the scales. Okay. And then I have like a litre of water that I'll be sipping at when I have my breakfast. Could be like, you know, big bowl of porridge, small bit of egg, yogurt, banana and fruit.
Okay.
Nap, wake up, more food, carbs, pasta, chill out for a bit.
I wonder you can fight all all this food.
Yeah.
But you're so used to it, obviously.
It's hard sometimes you can overdo it, like, you know.
Yeah.
Where if you have too much, then your body, it's not used to all that food, so you're using energy to
metabolize it, like.
digest the food, and you go into that fight, you're sluggish.
Okay.
So it's all about finding the balance and all that.
But that must be when you get to that elite level, these teeny things.
It's trial and error. Yeah. So like,
you've had loads of trials and loads of errors now, so you're fairly well polished off at this stage. Just going back to all the what was your favourite win? It might necessarily be a medal. You know, was it someone coming up young? Was it something because of special with family or something, or does one stick out?
Favourite win? I would say the European Games last summer.
Okay.
Qualifying.
So it was that Olympic dream moment?
Well, between that and just what was going on in my own life, between, like, when I was in the ring, my granddad was having his funeral, like.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a pretty insane day, like, insane few days.
Yeah. And so he how many days before that fight had he passed away?
So he passed. Was it the Saturday? Saturday I boxed against Malik Hasanov, the Azerbaijan. So I did my first fight, and then I beat Malik Hasanov, and then I was one fight away from qualifying, which was 2 days' time. And after that fight, so he actually passed before the Malik fight, and then the last 16, and obviously was had my mum and dad, and then my dad just rang me out of the blue when I was in the European Games to tell me, like, you know, what happened, like, granddad passed and all.
Had you known that had he been ill? Had you any expectation this may be a thing, or was it out of the blue?
I knew he was on and off being ill. In and out of the hospital, but like before I left, like, he was back home, like, you know.
Okay. So good form.
So then all of it, like, I was completely, like, didn't have nothing to do with it. Like, I think mum and dad were telling everyone don't hand me, and they were texting all my friends, like, you know, nothing on Facebook, nothing, because I was ready to fight, like, the last 16. And then obviously when I won my last 16, I was on the phone. I didn't even know my mum was in the hospital, like, when she rang me. Like, I was a FaceTime. I didn't even cop on that she was in the hospital room. Like, dad told me that evening. And then I was like, oh, jeez, I had to really process this.
You had to stay out. You couldn't even come home for a day, I presume, or anything?
No.
Just out there on your own.
I had a qualifying fight in 2 days' time, like.
Wow. And we close to your granddad, obviously, with a big part.
I got really close to him, like, even got really close probably the last 2 years, obviously, because there was a lot over there, a lot more, and seeing him in the hospital, like, I wanted to be there for him.
Yeah. Wow, that is.
It was pretty, it was a difficult time, but I think I kept reminding myself, you know, like, I remember saying, like, you know, before I left, like, you know, I was like, oh, I'm going to qualify now, like, you better be here back messing with him, like, and all.
Yeah.
So I just remember stood with him, I suppose. That's kind of where my head went straight after I found out, like, and I was confident that my mum had, like, good support system between mum, dad and family and stuff, so.
Well, I say fair play, but I mean, it's just, I say fair play and what a mental resilience to be able to do, but I'm sure obviously you didn't feel that way at the time, maybe going, this is not easy, like, but.
Yeah, I was just trying to stay positive, and I suppose the teammates were there for me as well, like, they all knew, like, so. Stayed off social media for a bit, like, I know it's the day of Facebook, so I didn't want to see all the photos and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, God, I had no idea. Didn't know this. So sorry to hear that, but like, it shows, again, it's lovely to hear these. Sorry, it's intriguing, I suppose, is a better word to say, for people to understand what you're just real people, like.
Yeah, listen.
You know, just because you're up there, these pedestals with the different titles and what you're doing. So that's tough that you missed that.
Yeah, and then obviously the day I was fighting was the funeral. So I was literally in the ring when the funeral was on. So I remember my brother was telling me, like, he was looking at there was like a live scores, like.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone was kind of glued in. They were like, it was like, they don't know how to feel. Like Mum was telling me, looking back, she was sad, she was happy, she was like, Jesus, she doesn't know what to do.
That is the ultimate roller coaster.
It was literally just like that, like.
Yeah.
And then Jason obviously looking at the scores and seeing I was up the first round, okay, up the second round, he was like, yeah. But then it was just.
Okay, so then obviously you got, when that tournament finished, then you obviously came home and.
Yeah, because there was a photo actually after I qualified. I went back, shook your man's hand, shook the ref's hand, and went down, and I, did a prayer like that, like.
Okay.
So,
well,
is it my profile picture?
Okay, yeah, no, I think I've seen
maybe one of my.
Yeah. God, yeah, that is. Oh wow! Oh God, the look looks magic there. Like you know what's that mean? That's deep meaning.
Religious enough as well, like. So
yeah. Would you find just because you say it, like would you'd use that a lot so before fights and that? Or
I'd pray before.
Okay,
yeah.
Find it helpful.
Yeah.
Very good, intriguing to know. So going back to your general world of boxing, who growing up had you idols in Ireland or abroad, or who would you love watching?
In boxing, I think the first person I really got into was like Mike Tyson, I suppose. Naturally enough.
Yeah,
he was vicious.
Would you have modelled yourself on him a bit then, or would you like some of the traits?
I would have. There's all very funny, all the slipping and stuff like that and all, but him, Floyd Mayweather, really like Floyd Mayweather style. Just clinical, great IQ. Watched a lot of Floyd growing up as well. Yeah.
Okay. And like, what do you think of the current state of boxing? Would you watch any of the celeb bouts?
Probably. I watched Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight now. In fairness,
for the entertainment value rather than like.
Yeah, like the Paul. Oh, jeez, that was a hard watch though. In fairness.
Yeah.
Like I thought a lot of people fed into like the BS between Jake. Like, look, he's a insane like person. Like he's great at marketing genius.
Yeah.
And he sold the world that Mike Tyson's the big bad, Iron Mike gonna destroy him. But like if he didn't look good in the early 2000s, he's definitely not gonna look 20 years later.
No.
He looked good and like I don't know.
It seemed a bit of a mad circus, like.
Yeah.
But
it was sad. But
it was kind of when you knew what he was like before.
There was a great fight before that with Katie and all. That's the reason.
Oh yeah, that was apparently one of the best fights ever.
That's the main reason I tuned in and didn't want to see Jake get
so
knocked
like,
out.
With any celeb you'd fight now? So if someone offered you the money. Any celeb you'd like to fight? Who would you like to give a good box to head to?
Can't really think of any at the top of my head. Like,
but down the line, you're not averse to if Netflix come knocking when you're retired.
Look,
offer you about 100 million.
If I'm retired and the money's there, no brainer.
Well, we have this on record now, so
no brainer.
So I've been very lucky this year to.
But look, I think as well.
Oh, sorry.
I think they're bringing a lot of the younger people into the boxing.
I suppose
these YouTubers,
yeah.
There's a lot like. Obviously, like to get a bit older, like alright, it's a load of muck, like. But they got into boxing, I'd say there'd be a lot of people getting into boxing with it.
Yeah, so it has a kind of silver lining as such.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah. So it as you said, it just makes them watch it, and then they might watch some real boxing.
Yeah, and then they get into it, like
Yeah, because if you get any good sport of any kind is good, but a good boxing fight can be insane to watch. So yeah. So hopefully some of those kids tuned into Katie beforehand, anyways.
Yeah.
So I've been very lucky this year to interview our 4 Sligo Olympians. So I've always been astounded that like people don't maybe realise that you just have normal jobs sometimes as well.
Yeah.
So I remember chatting to you about a year ago, and so you have a part time you had for a while. You're currently.
I was in Mammy Johnson's for about 2 years on Strand Hill.
Yeah.
So I was a barista there, I was making coffee. I stopped. I'd say September last year, maybe November. It was just full on training. It was just I couldn't manage it. I was training Monday to Friday. I was usually doing maybe just Sunday and the Monday. But I was like, no, I need these days. I need the days Saturday to train and then Sunday to do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, let your body recover properly.
Yeah, that's right. So I went back there Monday.
Just gone.
Yeah,
in for the Christmas.
Literally just back in for Christmas.
But you like the routine of it, you told me before.
I do. Like in fairness, probably something I was probably lacking since after the Olympics. From being there and then having nothing. Probably should have went back sooner, I'd say. But look, I was happy to be back. I was enjoying it, like the whole social aspect. Free coffee, free pastries, I suppose.
Okay,
free
that's
croissants, I know, I'm joking. Free coffee, I know, but enjoying it, like so.
Yeah, like it must be mad now when you're back there. The amount of people going, oh my God, like there are people up asking you, chatting more about the Olympics and pictures. No doubt.
It was nice to see a few the older customers that were coming in the morning ones. I was working at like 9. Still come in the morning. They're like, oh, there you are. Like, how are you getting on? It was nice to have them chats with them people. Like, but other than that, I'm enjoying me back. I'd probably tip away after New Year, even just Mondays. Okay. I make a great cup of coffee.
Yeah, well, now you've really sold it. We'll all have to go out to Mammy Johnson's in Strandhill in Sligo to get one of these famous Dean Clancy coffees. But like when you're like in your normal year, I mean, I know some elite sports people in Ireland get funded by, is it like Sports Ireland or something? It's not everyone though.
No, you have to get certain medals and obviously meet the criteria. It's all online if someone wants to look at it, like where
what the levels are and how you get. Okay, but then as you said, you're just going, but like, and I've asked this to many of them. It's like, to survive, you often just need a part-time job, which is mad to think like, but yet you go, well, if I wasn't doing this, I'd have much more time to train and maybe I'd get the next level up, like, you know? Yeah,
like for me, especially like last year, I was blessed. I had the Sligo Credit Union on me and as well as a Sports Ireland fund, which was just a massive pressure. And it was probably the first year I had like so much, like, you know, I could train, I could put everything into it.
Yeah.
Where I didn't have to worry financially, which that was a massive plus.
Just a mental relief, like
definitely mental relief as well. Like, you know, I could just go out and train and not have to worry too much. So we're looking at them hopefully now in the new year and get a few sponsors on board, because it does make a massive difference. And I think a lot of full-time athletes understand that. That, like, you know, if you can train full-time and not have to worry too much about like what's going on, or
the bills are covered.
Yeah, you know, that kind of to that extent, that'll put more into your performance and your training.
So, and I always say this on behalf of the athletes, if there's anyone here watching, you know, any companies, like, you know, we'd love to see when the next Olympics come around, if you still want to do that, you might become a pro by then. I'll ask you that in a moment, but like anyone interested, like, you know, just
I'm looking to get on the road anyways, like, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, on the road. So a car. So if there's anyone out there, there's not many car dealers in Sligo really, so, you know, that might be tricky to get. So if there was any car dealers out there, and Dean is great, and I've seen your work with the credit union, you actually really get out there and do it well, like, you know what I mean, make yourself available.
Yeah, I like doing all the social media. I in fairness, last year I was probably very busy now with the training and stuff, but like I probably could have done a bit more on social media, even my own account.
Yeah.
Because I actually really enjoy doing all that stuff. And I was like, you know, if you see my TikTok, I'd post
it. Yeah, so you're a good character. Like, so that's part of the brand. Yeah, so get out there. So okay, so car dealers first. And then we'll go from there. House, whatever.
Yeah. I'd love another house, but housing crisis now, you know. Don't want to get into politics here.
No. Yeah, if you were the Taoiseach, what would you do more for sports people?
Oh, I'm not getting political there. Cancelled.
No, so but you're like, I think it's generally known that there's definitely probably more supports that could be put in there.
Yeah, 100%.
So right now it's December 2024. So I presume you'll be like the rest of us. You'll be eating a bit too much. Would you have take a drink?
Most Christmas, like last year I did in fairness, but I think I'm going to tip over this Christmas. I think a bit of a head change. I just want to, I'll go out maybe one night, or maybe Christmas Eve, my brother at the house, but I never really go out Stephen's Day or New Year's.
I need the big man.
I think I had a bit of a blow up after Paris and all, and
of course,
you know. So I think I'm in a good place at the moment.
Okay,
we had evaluation there like 2 weeks ago in Dublin. We were on for like 2 weeks and stuff, and I feel like I'm in a good place in boxing wise.
Oh, so the next tournament then that you're focusing on would be
Strandja Box Cup is in February.
Okay, and
I tend to win. Like, I've been there like 4 times, and it's probably one of the hardest spots. It's pretty much a mini worlds. Like there's only 2 Uzbeks in each weight, like 2 Kazakhs, you know, Russians and everything. Like, so it's a prestige tournament. It's a very hard tournament to win.
Okay.
So I'd be looking at that, and I don't want to. Last few Christmases I've enjoyed, and I come back into training a bit too heavy, and I'm not fully prepared for that tournament.
Yeah.
So kind of looking at this year, like, I want to tip over the Christmas, keep the good shape, and then turn the gear up in January. You know, where I don't want to be first few weeks wasting it trying to get into.
Yeah. But as you said, there's always the next tournament. Like, it's very hard to just let loose. And
so Strandja, then hopefully 2 World Championships. Obviously performance. And training and stuff, and get selected for them hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
there's one, I think it's Serbia in March with the IBAN, and there's one World Boxing in Liverpool, so in September. So.
Oh, okay. So September. So anyone want to get a little trip to Liverpool?
Somewhere in Europe, somewhere in March or April, I think.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, that'll be something for us to all maybe go over and have a look at. I like it. Let's say, is there any other career, if boxing ended in the next 4 or 5 years, would you go, I'd like to get into that, or I've studied this, or I'd like to study that, or anything you've an interest in? Little coffee shop?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like, get me an old truck.
Yeah, so you take off, you'd be quite happy.
Yeah, no. I'm actually, in January, I'm looking at a course, like a 12-week course. It was like sports psychology.
Oh, brilliant, okay.
Had an interest in that, so I'm actually looking to get into that. It's only 12 weeks as well.
Yeah.
Mondays, get a little taster of it, and I can benefit from that. And
I was going to say, yeah.
Not only for myself, but if it's something I do enjoy, something I could look down future in line after boxing. You know?
And ever maybe set up your own boxing club in the future? Or
Yeah.
So it's loads
There's
of
no club in
options.
town now, in fairness, like actual bang smack in town. I'd love to have a club in Sligo town.
Okay.
There isn't like in the city centre, like, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So there's one for the future. So
Yeah.
you've many journeys, but the first one is keep going with the boxing.
Yeah, keep going. It's a very small window. So
What's the opportunities like to turn professional? I mean, I wouldn't have a clue how that all works. Could you turn professional ASAP if you wanted, but it'd be tiny money? Is that it, or do you have to win something to get the opportunity? Or
wouldn't say tiny money as in if you turn like turn over like straight away. Like I'm looking at LA 28. If I'm honest, that's what I want. I want to get a medal, and I know that most medalists are in their late 20s anyways, or mid late 20s. I'd be 27 or 26 in LA. America, massive platform.
True.
Turn pro then, hopefully. But you never know. Like, you know, a lot can change in the 4 years.
Yeah. So you just go with the
So
flow.
if it was, like, I wouldn't go pro unless it was 100% committed. You know, if it was, so like obviously in my head now I'm like in LA, so you know I can have offers here and there, good ones, bad ones, whatever. You know, I wouldn't jump into it unless I was like 100%, because I know if I put 100% into it, like, and my mind's like, yeah, I want to go pro, I will do big things in it, like, so.
Okay, interesting. Because you always just assume people go, it'd be great to go pro and make a fortune or make a decent living, but it's not always that.
It's a business as well. Like, you know, you're a brand when you think about it. You don't be jumping in and, you know, people in there like they'll be like, do this, do that. But no, you want a good team in a pro. You want a good promotion. Be with a good promotion company, good manager, good coach. Yeah. And you know, it's a lot different than amateur. You know, where I've like somewhat of my expenses like paid for. Yeah. Pro, you're everything. You know, you're a business.
Much, but as you said, it probably brings a lot of other pressures and headaches too. So you have to be ready for that.
Definitely, yeah. So like I'm going to stay on for another while, I know, and long term LA at 28. Like, you know, I think it'd be insane to go to LA like and get a medal there, like, and then turn over. Like, it'd be just be ideal, you know.
That'd be the perfect journey, since you have the perfect path.
Yeah.
Well, Dean, it's a pleasure having you on the show. And in case anyone's watching and they're wondering why I'm wearing this t-shirt, I don't normally wear these. Don't wear the t-shirts in the interviews. So we finally got you. We got all our other Sligo Olympians.
Gentlemen.
Their own special, limited edition. Sligo style. That is Noon Boy, Kevin Noon, the designer. Check him out on Instagram at Noon Boy. And the guys from Jacko, Nicky and the guys sponsored all the tops we gave all to the athletes. And we will be getting you to sign our other top there. So we'll have all 4 Olympians with one of these signed. We're going to do something for charity with that. And just to show everyone on the back there for the town and the county. So
let's go for the town.
Yeah. So Dean, just a little thank you from us, from the town. That's a culmination of everyone. And look, the very best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy Christmas.
I will.
Enjoy. Is it January, February? You have that tournament you're saying? Yeah. So we'll be watching from afar. Hopefully we'll go and get to see you. Maybe it's one of the fights if it's not too far away in Ireland, UK potentially. And we'll hopefully have you back here someday with a nice medal around your neck.
Yes, back on
from whatever it is, Europeans, Worlds, Olympics. So thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you again.
Cheers. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So big thanks to Dean Clancy there for coming in and chat to us. That is our 4th Sligo Olympian this year. We're delighted they all came in and gave us their time and help. And thanks, as I said, to Jacko for the t-shirts and Noon Boy for the design. Thanks to Mark Kennedy, who's been doing the cameras for us today. Brian's on a day off. Thanks to the ATU Innovation Centre for the space we have here. And our sponsors, Pet Stop Discount Warehouse, who've been very good to us in 2024. Go and check out all their 7 branches all over the country. We'll see you all again next time.
The Sligo Show is produced by Pixel Productions and hosted by Brendan Tierney. If you need video for your business or live event or would like to appear on the show, send us a message today.